Good evening, SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening to everyone else. North, south, east, west, perpendicular, at the shopping place, at the lunchroom. This is the what the day is. This is the November 15th, 2022 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. Oops, I didn't mean to have all these people on here like that. Okay, now we'll do it. Well, you know who's going to be on here now. But I am your host and teacher and van driver and head cook.
No, not the cook.
Mr. Mike Walker. Glad to have each and every one of y'all with us here tonight. Glad to join us. We have like they say, an action-packed episode tonight, though. So let's get started. Red Lipstick, how you doing? Glad to have you here. I ain't gonna call your name. You always laugh at how I pronounce your name. So glad to have you here, Ty. Glad to have you here, Ty. Annette, glad to have you here. Jenna from the ATL, always great to have you here. Miss Purnell, glad to have you here. Shelly Ann Johnson, good night as well. That means she's saying hello. Regina A. Lowry, glad to have you here, ma'am. Always great to have you here. First I'm early, yeah, okay. And good evening, everyone. And Teresa, always a pleasure to have you here with us tonight. And Theodora from the state of Pennsylvania. Always a pleasure to have you here. We always like to have you here and your input. I think that might be just about it for right now. And if not, okay. Now, Lynn Brown, good to have you here as well. Let me see. Okay, let's get started, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Angela Madison, great to have you here. Great to have you here. And Natasha, always great to have you. Oh, but now they coming in now. Let me see. I'm from Pennsylvania. Okay, you from Pennsylvania as well. Okay. And you know what, folks? I have nothing to say about this. I just don't. It was gonna be 4 of us up here. It's gonna be 3 of us here tonight, though. So anyway, no, I ain't gonna do that though. Now let's get started. Starting from my left, from the Alabama 1st District, we have Sister Leslie. And from the 3rd District in the state of Florida, we have Brother Chauncey. And we have the 5th District of Virginia, we have Kitty Metcalf. Glad to have each and every one of y'all with us here tonight. We got some more. Glad to have y'all. Great. Tiffany been getting sharp, y'all. And Sharon Fuller-Winder, glad to have you here. Okay, folks, y'all ready for this? Let's get started, though, with the first topic. Should the woman take the lead in the relationship? Again, should the woman take the lead in the relationship? And of course, you know I have some source material to start us off with. So away we go.
A woman's submission is based on a man's leadership, then what is his ability to lead based on? Trip?
His ability to submit. I think we've already established that tone in this conversation. I think in order to be an effective leader, you need to know when to move out the way.
Oh, that's good. I like
because, you know, and it's not to refute what anybody else is saying, but I don't think it's always the man who has the vision in a relationship, and I don't think it's always him that's supposed to. If let's say my lady is a lawyer, she pulling in 150 a year. The vision is clear. We're gonna need a few more years of what you got going on before we start talking about who I'm supposed to be and what I got going on. And if I need to lead by moving out of her way so she can accomplish some things to better us, then I need to be strong enough to do that. So I think a lot of men lead from an egotistical place where it's about what I want, not about what we need.
Okay,
No, go ahead, Chauncey.
I lied. Disclaimer: I said I was gonna be the last one.
Go ahead. I was gonna ask you
I wound
anyway.
up being the first one.
I was gonna ask you anyway.
That
So.
brother stole all my thunder in that. It all depends on who's suited best for the circumstances and situations in the relationship. I'm under the pride it takes two to tango. So for us to be successful, we have to determine who's best to lead us in the situation. In certain situations, it's going to be the man, and sometimes it's going to be the woman. But where the rift comes in sometimes is when a man, like he says, his ego steps in and don't know to move aside. That's how you cause things to start to crumble and become ruined, because you won't let your pride go to the side and sometimes let your lady lead in situations. A man don't have to do it all the time. She's there to be a help meet, and certain those things and being a help meet, she's going to be better, and it's okay to acknowledge, okay, ma'am, you are better than this at meet, so I'm going to fall back and let you lead us. And that you have to be in a very comfortable place in your manhood, which most men are not, to acknowledge that. So all depends on the circumstances of the situation that's involved in that relationship, evaluating and saying, well, who's best to do it? And it's naturally going to happen. So if I know I'm weak at something, she's strong, of course I'm gonna let her lead it. I'm not no fool. So that's what my stance is on that.
Okay. And I think as a man, that it can be an ego bruiser. We have that pride. We always thinking that at least a good man with his weight would think, I need to be in charge though. But like you said though, there's things that I won't even say there are things that we can't do. Maybe it might be some things we may need to turn over to her just in general, and it doesn't take away our positions as men or women, but it
Yeah.
is sometimes you just have to yield. You just have to yield. Let me see. Trudell says, are you saying that just because she makes a higher income, she is the one who leads? I think she was referring to you.
No,
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with income.
That's what he said in the video.
Okay.
Oh, he said in the interview, oh, this has nothing to do with income. This solely based on the gift. I think sometimes the one that should take the lead is the one, if we're going to talk on a spiritual level, the one that God gave the vision to. If God entrusted the person with the vision in the relationship to go somewhere, then I'm have to submit to your leadership, because God talked directly to you, not to me. So I'm trusting God through you, what he gave you. And sometimes he's going to talk to the man, and sometimes he's going to talk to the woman. And a lot of people don't want to follow, well, why did God didn't talk to me? Well, God didn't talk to you. He talked to me. So you going to trust God in this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to trust God in this. So it's nothing monetary. It all depends on the gift and the divine revelation that God gives to the specific person that should be taking the lead, because that's the one who has it. Because like I said, sometimes divine revelation, we'll never understand it because God didn't give it to us, but the person who got it understand it better. So I'm like, okay, I don't know where it's going at, but God talked to you, so you lead us. I'm following. So I'm trying to get to what God wants. So, and we have to think about that in our romantic relationships. So I'm just answering that question.
Okay. Ladies.
In regards to the video, I agree with Trudy in the sense that it has absolutely nothing to do with income. And I think sometimes it's difficult to have these conversations based on these videos, because these people are obviously not coming from a biblical perspective or point of view when it comes to relationships. So that's why things like money come up, because to them, that's what leadership is based on: money and the prestige and success. To me, I don't, when it comes to leading, we talk as though it's this singular act, as if the man takes over, the woman has no input, or if the woman takes over, the man has no input. It does not, it's the whole point of leadership is not a dictatorship. You don't say, I'm going to do this because I know best, or you do this because you know best. No, we're supposed to come together and have a sharing of ideas and points of view on whatever the topic is. So to me, it should be a mutual conversation, even if I'm necessarily better at something. It's still a dialogue I should be having with my husband. To me personally, if it's something that needs to be acted upon, once that dialogue takes place, even if I am the one who is better at it, I still would want him to go and be the one who enacts it. That's just me. Um, I don't think he has to be an expert at everything, but I think if we're having that conversation where we're coming together and a sharing of ideas and deciding on something as one unit, then I am absolutely fine with him being the one that carries it out. That's what I would prefer.
Understood. Sis Leslie. Has she frozen?
I agree with a lot of everyone has already said. When I initially heard the video, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. When I initially heard, okay. So when I initially heard the video, he did. It seemed that he did in the video tie leadership to income. Oh, she's a lawyer, this and that. Oh yeah, she needs to be the visionary. We need to follow her, and that should not definitely. I mean, I think we all agree that that should not be the deciding factor. I'm under this. And I agree with what Kitty said. It's not a singular thing where this person leads and no other person has any input. I think it's this mutual understanding that everyone has particular gifts, and a relationship composes of so many different areas, whether it's what's going on in the home, the finances, entertainment, travel, disciplining the children if you have them. It's just so many factors, and everyone has their own knack. So you may have a husband and wife that are living together, they're coexisting with their family, and the wife is the one who plans all the trips. She's the one with the vision. She knows how to get all the hotels. She enjoys, scoping out all the prospective places. And so she leads all the family vacations, where the husband, you know what, you plan it, I'll make sure we can pay for it. So he's managing the finances. And someone else, the husband may say, well, I love to cook, you can't tell me nothing about my chicken, and so I'm gonna be the one that's cooking the food, or going to the grocery store. And my aunt had me tickled the other day. She said, your uncle love go to the grocery store. He leaves at 1 and back at 5. He goes about 4, but he just loves going to the grocery store and shopping and planning the meals for the week. Some people just like doing those things, and there's no gender role to it. It's just what they like and enjoy, what brings them peace, and what they want to do as far as providing for the upliftment for their household. So let people lead in the areas they want to lead in. And then as you come together as a couple, it's okay, we have some gaps. We both don't like to wash dishes. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to get these dishes clean. And so that's when you come together and say, well, let's make a deal. Let's plan some things out on how we're going to handle the things that we both don't like to do, and how we need to work together in the things we both like to do. I think it's communication and sharing the leadership in that relationship. And if two people can talk it out and work through all of those different factors, that's the to me, that's the best thing. It's like, oh, if I can find that. A man to know how to talk to me. But it is what it is. But I think it's just a coexisting and conversation.
You said something interesting. A man that could know how to talk to you. Communication. That what you said? My hearing aid going bad. I don't know. But communication is great. And it's very important. Communication. I can't stress that. That should be the word of the year. Communication. And y'all brought up bills and what have you, though. It's kind of interesting segue to the next topic. paying the bills. You know, and of course, I have something. Y'all look at the screen. Check this out.
Mother been married 22 years now. My stepfather has no issue with digging in his pocket anytime my mother say, "Hey, Wendell, can I get this?" He don't have a problem. However, that's because when my stepfather come home, he don't touch nothing. There's food at the table. It's warm. She treats him like a husband.
Just how I said,
But
that's how it
but-
works together.
Exactly. But nowadays, women
You ain't
just
gonna get
think
no
that,
woman like that.
hell no. If you
are
me,
not.
all I gotta do is you. That's it. That's what a
They
lot
not
of women
gonna do
think.
it.
I'm cute. I got a pretty
Yeah.
face. All I gotta do is you.
And-
That's it.
and-
And I'm gonna get that. But then you want to be treated like a wife. You can't have that. No,
Fact.
that's why I'm saying when you said
from Baltimore?
I'm from DC. From piggybacking off of what you said as far as paying the bills, that shit needs to solely be for the woman who helps provide and do all of that stuff for you too, because you confuse a lot of these girls out here thinking that all I gotta do is fuck them, because like you say, you fuck them and I get my bills paid. No.
Ladies,
Paying
ladies,
the
go ahead.
bills. Paying the bills. Go ahead, ladies.
I'll say it again. A lot of these people that sit on these panels and stuff, their whole mindset is skewed. If the women the woman as she describes, their mentality is, I have sex, my bills get paid. That's not the mentality of someone who's in a loving, caring, marriage with someone. So their thinking already is messed up. Who pays the bills? I think that is something that is discussed as a couple. I think that's so subjective. I can't say who should do what, because what works in your household may not work in mine, and vice versa. I've known women who were homemakers and their husband did pay all the bills. I've known people who split bills. Like, I think it's whatever works for that husband and wife. And I don't think that should be contingent upon, like, those videos just annoy me because everything is like, oh, I pay bills as long as you cook and clean, as though that's all being a wife is about. Is because the way they're defining being a good wife is she cooks, she cleans, he don't have to touch nothing, as though that's all that makes someone a good wife to someone. And then the flip side is they're acting as though what would make him a good husband is paying all the bills, and he just sits back and has to do nothing, as though that's what a marriage is comprised of. So I think those people that sit on those panels and stuff, their whole thinking is just off. But to answer the question, I think is whatever works for that couple.
Okay, Bishop, because you thinking.
Leslie, may you take the question, please?
Okay. Okay, there was a time, probably about the latest when it kind of phased out, maybe about 60, maybe 7. It's hard to phase out about 70 years ago, where there were distinct, defined gender roles in a house. That started to fade. I don't even want to say 60. I want to say, when was it when women were working in manufacturing, like factories? Was that the World War I or World War II?
World War II. I think
Okay.
that's, yeah.
So let's go back 100 years, where roles were phasing out of this being defined and being distinct in the household. Things started to pivot and change, and then we're now in this world now where being a housewife is almost like looked down on, which to me is still an amazing responsibility, and just like that's like the bomb to me, if you're able to do that. But we're in a world where not everyone's able to do that. So this is back to communication. When you come together as husband and wife, and you decide when you come together, but hopefully before you get married,
Yes.
what type of life do we want to have? What are we willing to sacrifice in certain phases of our life so we can have a more wholesome household or a better household? What are the things we want to have? What are the luxuries we want to have? And what do we have to do to get those things? Are we willing to sacrifice those things? And you think about that seriously. These are times that you should have before you even get married. It's like, okay, we're going to get married. We have this income and that income. But what if I have a child? Are you okay with me not working for a few years? And, for 5 or 6 years till the kids get to high school, school.
Mm-hmm.
School, and then we get back into the workforce, and you talk about all those things. And I understand, if I don't work, then we're not gonna have this 100,000 in my salary. You're gonna have your 100,000. We working, you're talking through all that stuff. To me, you should be. This is like a game of Monopoly. You working through it with how we go around this little square in our life, in our marriage, and when things come, how are we gonna prepare to handle those things? And if you're not having those conversations, every obstacle, every trial or tribulation is gonna rock your marriage to the core, because you haven't figured out before you entered that marriage how you are going to coexist when times get hard. You gotta at least talk about what you're gonna try to do, even if it hasn't happened yet, because at least you have an understanding that when it happens, we're gonna work together on this instead of working apart.
And after the vows, it's the wrong time.
It's the wrong time to figure out. I always thought that when I have a child, I wouldn't work for the first 5 or 6 years. Well, hold up now. We got this $500,000 house that's depending on our $250,000 combined income, and now you don't want to work. How that's gonna work? So yeah, you gotta have those conversations beforehand. You gotta be straight up, be honest. And we too old for this, man. We are not 18, 19, 21 coming out of college,
that's right,
and don't know what the world's going to bring. If you are in your 30s or 40s, you know what kind of life you want to have. And you know what you have to do to maintain it and to sustain it. And we're not talking about in year 1. We're talking about what you want that life to look like together in year 20. When those kids are going off into college. What do you want it to look like in year 30 when they're out of college? And now it's just you and that person, empty nesters, everyone's gone, and you looking at each other looking crazy. Are we going to travel, baby? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? You got to know how you need to have a plan from beginning, before day one. It's a dream. And you have to work together to make that dream manifest. And you got to bring God in it. I can't forget God. God's always in it anyway. But God's leading and guiding it and helping you increase and decrease and all that stuff. So, but yeah, God got to be in it, because that dream is not going to happen. Those wishes, those pillow talks where you're like, oh man, I just can't wait to this time and this and this, and talk about the kids and their dreams and how you're going to make those dreams come true. If you're not talking about it and letting God work his magic and his anointing and his spirit and his divine favor and all of that, you're going to fail before you even get started.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me read these before we get to Chauncey. Trudell says, we pay the bills. I believe all the funds come into the house. We are one. Our income pays the bills. Teresa Jones said, my dad paid all the bills. She also says, my mom was a housewife, and I enjoyed that growing up as a child. I volunteered her for a lot of school events. And Sister Madison, if you don't communicate that dream, it will be a nightmare. That'll preach, evangelist. That'll preach. That'll go right there. Chauncey.
Whoo. Which angle do I want to take this?
Let's take it.
Okay.
Your angle.
Y'all know how my angle is. I will go across the grain real quick. I guess I just share my vision of when I get married when it comes to paying bills. We're going to put in the pot together in one account that directly go to bills. It's going to be a joint effort. so that we are both responsible and liable for the maintaining of the place that we live in. It's a joint effort. We both live in this place. We both work. We both invest into this. That's us given to us. I do believe in times where sometimes she's not gonna be able to work, might be health reasons, things like that. And I pick up that slack because I expect that she do the same thing for me. What if something happened to me and I got to be off work? Wow, that slack be taken up, but we all have a pot for those emergency funds. So one of us go down, we won't be worrying about money. I want to be in a marriage where we don't worry about money. That does not mean being rich. It means being fiscal responsible. And in 2022, it really takes the man and the woman to work for this thing to work because everything going up sub wages. I know, I respect women that want to be the housewives and stay home. If that's what you want to do, God bless you. I ain't gonna stop your dream. You just won't be with me because I can't see like that. That puts me putting on 5 jobs at one time just to support us. That's stress. I've seen family members, I've seen men in my family died, taking on so much stress of jobs. And I said, that will never happen to me. It's just stressful taking on that much stuff. But I do believe in joint efforts, and paying bills is going to be a joint thing. Now, outside our finances, she said, well, the bills are paid. I just want a little something for myself so you could say you got me something. Fine, no problem. You know, I have no problem doing that because I guess I'm just a giver like that. I told someone earlier today, giving away money is never a problem to me because, you know, if I got the blessing, that means I'm meant to be a blessing for somebody else. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But that's what my logic, my mindset, what I believe in. We both have one account and we are both pouring our bill money together, and then we have our own separate monies that we can do what we want to do individually.
Okay, you say you don't.
There are people who run households on single incomes.
Yeah, but
I run my household on a single income. And there are a lot of other people who take care of their home and their children on single incomes who don't work multiple jobs.
Well,
it's possible. It's very possible.
I'm not saying it's not possible because my mama did it. My mother has done a great job being a single mother who has ran a house with me with one single income for her whole entire life. But the way I grew up was in the 90s. Money don't look like that no more.
But I'm saying in this day and age, I run my household on a single income. And in this day and age, there are plenty of men and women with children, single dads, single moms, who run their household on single incomes. So like I've heard people say that, but it happens every day. So I don't think necessarily that it's not possible. It might just be not your choice, because that's not everybody's choice to do that. But it is quite possible for it to be done.
I'm not saying it's not possible. When I'm thinking about if I marry someone, she says she wants to have 2 or 3 or 4 kids, I'm be thinking like, okay, I got to think about that, find the fiscal responsibility. I think that worries me a lot.
I mean, it's doable. I have a friend who is a stay-at-home mom right now. She has I think a 7-year-old and 3-year-old twins and a 2-year-old, and there's an older outside child, and they are making it work. Now she's at home. Now look, you can't be at home and not be present at home. I feel like being a housewife is a full-time job with overtime. So you're not eating out every night because you're trying to save money because like you say, you only have one. It's a different type of life because you're eating. They're cooking at home. They're doing all the household stuff. They're doing. I mean, it's so much you can do being a housewife that you don't have capacity to do if you are working. You see what I'm saying? If you're one who manages their time, the one who makes sure the money is saved and is, like you said, financial management, it's doable because you got to think about it. It costs $400 or $500 a month at least for one child in daycare. So I've heard women quit their jobs and make more money staying at home because it costs so much to put them in daycare. Someone had to work, and you making $5,000 a month, and your daycare is $4,300. It's like I can stay home, and not have to worry about paying out all that money, and then save so much other money in other areas of your life. So it's doable. I see it, like Kitty was saying. I see it everywhere. It's doable, and some people just who may not. You have a lot of women out there that are working 2 or 3 jobs because they may not have the education or some type of vocational training that could help them find that job to be to bring them to a certain salary level so they can work that one job. I've seen women go get a certification in something and say, I just went from 3 jobs to 1. Now I can go to my child's dance rehearsal and soccer practice because they made some changes in their life so they can be there for their kids. So yeah, we have to really think through how we want our lives to be. Remember saying before, if you want a certain life, you got to prepare for it. And sometimes things happen in life that we're not prepared for. And we have to struggle a little bit and work harder until we can get our life to the way we want it to be. But it's all possible. And I remember don't dismiss God. Because God, right? You remember the fish and the loaves? He can multiply in so many ways. So if your household, if your wife, the woman that you love is saying, hey, I want to be at home with my kids these first few years when they're having this major development in their lives. I want to be present for the first steps. I want to be present for those first words. God's going to make a way.
Okay, now I got Teresa Jones. Sometimes it will be cheaper for mom to be at home. The other income will be spent on daycare. And Latricia, glad to have you here. Daycare was $60 a day.
That's cheap.
$60 a day for my son.
Times how many? 4 weeks times 5, 200.
Yes, I'm looking at 1,200. That's quick.
1,200. That's one paycheck for some folks.
Absolutely. Maybe I saw something else. Yvonne Rice, glad to have you here. If you don't work together and have God as the foundation, that dream will never be your reality. And Jewel, she asks a good question. What if my one and your money aren't the same? Do I put in the same amount?
So in other words, if she making $5,000 a month, he making $2,000 a month, do we put it in the pot? You got more together than you do apart.
That's good right there. That's good enough for me right there. Here we go. Jenna says, yep, being a housewife is a full-time job. My mom did it. And she also says, I'm a stay-at-home mom myself. I teach my child at home and work from a job from home. And Bishop Reginald says, so what happens if the husband gets hurt and can't work, but the wife stays at home? No money coming in. It's really something to think about, to depend on only one income coming into the household. Chauncey.
There's provisions that you could do for that. When I get married, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have a type of insurance. If anything happens to me and injured, that insurance comes in and cover bills and things like that until I get back on my feet. Because I believe my mother hates me when I think like this. She always saying, you're always thinking about the worst. Well, the worst is going to happen in life. You never know what's going to happen in life. I like to be prepared for any situation. So when it happens, boom, we good. Because I don't need my wife stressing about bills and worrying about my health at the same time. Worry about my health. The bill's going to be taken care of. I made that provision. That's always thinking future. And I think a lot of people, that's the reason why a lot of people don't have life insurance policies. They don't think about future. They think about present all the time. We got to think beyond. So I would make sure that I, as a man, have those provisions. So anything happens, we're going to be taken care of, because it's not just happening to us, it's happening to me too. Hello, I live in the same house. So You know, there's ways of plan for that. Safeness, have a saving your savings account saying this is like when I don't work and we got to pay bills for a limited time. So let's say 6 months. Even though I might not be out for 6 months, but I have 6 months planned, so that money is not dried out, so I can go and replenish and be good. I always think, always save for 6 months in emergency because you never know how long it's going to be. And also have another provision just in case that well run out, you have another reservoir. I think a lot of people don't think future, and I'm not saying all, I just say some people don't think future. I do, because I'm always under the scenario anything can happen at any time. Someone needs to be prepared because I don't want to put that strain and stress on somebody else.
Yes, ma'am. Charlene Campbell says long-term and short-term disability benefits. And again, you have to plan for the future. You never know what's happening, what's going to happen. And I think this pandemic has definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to that. So, got to plan ahead, y'all. So, but we'll move on to our next one, if y'all don't mind. If y'all don't mind. But before we do, you know, this is my first time doing this tonight. Please make sure you like, you subscribe, and you share. Okay. Here's the next topic. I'm just gonna play the video. And y'all get the gist of it.
Here are some things I expect a man to pay for while I'm dating him or we're in a relationship. All dates. Like, sir, you're courting me, you're dating me, like, you should be paying for the date. I don't pay for dates, so what are we doing here? Why would you ask me on a date if you're not gonna pay for it? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I know you don't want to look at my crusty nails, and my nails are never crusty because I'm a model, so I have to get my nails done for shoots, and like, I usually upkeep my nails once every 2 weeks, so you got to be able to afford my nails to be done once every 2 weeks. You just have to date me. Honestly, when it comes to hair, I have like that wash and go hair, but still, products are expensive. Like my conditioners, my leave-ins, my detanglers, my co-washes, like hair is expensive. So I'm going to need you to front the bill on that. You know, like you need to help me out. Now, if you guys don't already know, Ubers are a given, a must. Like I do not pay for my transportation to these dates. You must get my Uber. That is just the standard. I don't like looking like a bush monkey, so waxing is a given. I feel like nobody wants to see that. So, yeah, you got my wax, right? You got my wax. Now, further down the line, I'm not talking about the first few dates, but eventually you're going to have to pay my rent. Like, girls got bills to pay, and I am too feminine to, like, pay for myself. So, I mean, I do that now, but, like, if I'm with you, why would I pay for my own bills? Ugh, no.
She said while they're dating, this is her requirement.
I'm just walking away. I'm just walking away.
While you're dating, no. Now, I agree with the dates thing, honestly. If you're taking me out for dates, yeah, you're paying for it. I'm not asking for nails and all that other nonsense. You're just dating, and no. And I'm certainly not asking someone I'm dating for rent money. No, but yeah. If he's courting me and he wants to go out on date, then yeah, he can pay for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Latricia. I'm with you, girl. She need to call somebody daddy.
But my thing is, if that's her choices and that's her standard, and somebody actually wants to date her, knowing that those are her expectations, then that's on him. She's putting it out there. These are my expectations. This is what I want. And a man has the option to say, no, I don't want to date you. So she's not forcing anyone to be with her. You don't want to meet her unrealistic standards? Don't try and date her. Very easy to solve.
And she'll probably find a man before some of us who are out here trying to pay our own
Exactly.
bills.
She's gonna find someone who's gonna do all of that too. Watch.
I hope it is a joke, Charlene. I hope so.
No, it's
because
not.
I had so many comments that weren't godly when she was talking. Because I was like,
No.
I'm not gonna say it.
She is.
Because I'm like, she don't have a man. She must not have a man right now.
She is serious.
Chelsea looking like that.
Oh,
I know it too much. Yeah, I mean, but some simp out there would do it though.
They're gonna do it. I was with.
Oh yeah, she's gonna.
I was with. I won't say who it was. So I'll just say it was. I was walking with someone, a female. So because this is on Facebook, I don't want to say who she is, but someone who I'm close to who was female. This is a few years ago. Very pretty woman, very nice body, very nicely made up, everything. We were walking down the street, and this happened twice. So we're walking down the street, we're going shopping. Some guy's trying to holler at her, to talk to her. She says to him, "You got a check for me?" She says, "You got a check for me?" He's like, "No," whatever. She was like, "Then don't talk to me." Kept walking, right? I'm like, whatever, we're doing it. Next time we go shopping or whatever, some guy trying to hit on her. She's over there talking or whatever to him. She gives him her number. And I'm looking because this isn't really the kind of guy that she would go for or whatever. We go someplace else, take a bus someplace else to the mall. And she's like, she has to go outside real quick. And I'm like, why? She's like, oh, that guy I met, he's bringing me some money. She just met him. And so he got the saying, "You gonna give me some money" speech for her. And guess what? He showed up. He did not know her. She did not do anything with him and gave her money. So there are people out there, and I won't just say men because there are women who throw their money at men too. There are people out there who would totally go for something like that. Where it speaks, what place they're coming from inside that they do stuff like that, who knows? But it's not so far-fetched. She's going to find someone who's going to do exactly what she wants.
Before we go to Chauncey, let me read what Ebony says. Why didn't she just say she was an escort? Basically, that's what she is doing.
She didn't say she's having sex with them. She said dating them.
Well, escorts don't usually have sex.
Yeah, not all of them have sex either. Yeah,
they escort.
That's true.
We're not talking about that Ford either. They escort. Okay, Chauncey, please.
Oh God. I'm saved. I'm really saved. I know Jesus. I really know Jesus. Okay. She has her own expectations and should be respected for her own expectations of what she wants. Everybody has their non-negotiables, and I've heard worse and seen worse. But I am not going to date you and support your lifestyle at the same time. I pay for all dates. I'm the one that asked for it. I do that. The hairs and the nails and all that. Listen, nope. Not my responsibility. I'm dating to know you. I didn't know it's gonna cost me the whole world to know you. If I know that, nope. So, and it's good that she's saying this, because there's gonna be a lot of men saying, I ain't doing that. And there's gonna be some men saying, I'm down for that. And you know what? We can't bash men that want to do that. That's what they want to do, and they got the money to do it, and they ain't gonna break their pockets. Brother, do you? I ain't mad. That's your choice. But I know Chauncey Maurice Whaley won't do that. Because I was dating a girl one time. She said, let's live together. I told her I don't shack up until I get married. That relationship ended real quick. Because I have belief systems. I don't believe in living together until we husband and wife. That's just something I believe in, and everybody don't believe that. So I get that's what she is, and a lot of people going to pass her. Yeah. Hey, at least she said it. There's some people won't say it at all, but expected. So, I mean, I clap my hands. The reason why I was looking the way I was looking, because I knew that's something I wouldn't do. But now I had to realize, okay, at least she said it. So, hey, I mean, like I said, I don't heard words before. But man, if I take you out on a date, why would I pay for your Uber when I got a car and I can pick you up?
Cause you ain't coming to my house. What is that?
Okay, I ain't got it. I can meet you at a location. I ain't got to come to the house. I know some people addresses they want to keep private. Now I understand for safety purposes and in the year 2022.
We don't get in the car. We don't get in the car with strangers.
There you go.
No.
Safety purposes, I'm not getting in the car.
I mean, we're there. I mean, I think back 30 years ago, the little man came and little boy come pick you up at your house, and your dad will let you go out the door and get in the car with some boy, and you just like, ooh, you don't think about it. Now it's like, I ain't getting in the car.
I'm not getting in nobody's car. I'll meet you there.
You know, back then we got in the car with a little teenage boy, a little 20-something-year-old boy, or whatever. Now we ain't getting in the car with this other 50-year-old man.
I'm not getting in nobody's car. Where we going? I'll meet you there.
Oh,
it's just different. We got too much information. It was a different age, and now the information has caused us to have fear.
Right.
And all of that. Yeah, it is what it is.
You have to think about your safety. And now I'm thinking, dang, it costs more to date than get married. Wow.
I think it depends all on how you date, though. There's so many nice things you can do for free,
so many.
low cost. If you're creative enough. There's so many things you can do.
I'm not knocking.
You can go to the park, walk around and talk.
Yeah,
have
so many free, low cost things.
Sip you on a little sweet tea and walk around the park and stuff. I said
go
one
to Groupon
and had ice cream. You know, let me tell you this. Because one thing I hate being a single person is all these freaking meal deals, buy one, get one free. I'm a table of one. Why can't my meal can't be half off for that meal? You know, it's always got to have someone to come with you to get the deal. Use a coupon. Go to Groupon, like she said. Get you a deal. Don't be shamed. And if they shame you, like, hey, if you want this all the time, you want to see a Groupon.
She won't even have to know. You make your reservations.
Right.
I hope my son did that. My son was younger, but he wanted to plan something cute for his girlfriend. We went on Groupon. We were in New York. And they had a thing where you could like rent bikes and ride through Central Park or whatever, like for low cost, because you can rent bikes to ride through Central Park.
Yeah.
But it can be expensive. So I found him a Groupon. I'm like, look, he went, paid for the Groupon. You're none the wiser because you show up or you do like they give you like the code or whatever.
Yeah,
you don't know that you paying half price for it. They rode through the park, nice little date, had a little picnic. It didn't even cost them that much money. That's something.
Girl, grown men don't do that. I applaud your little
exactly. That's why I said if you're creative, there's so many cute things you can do that don't even have to cost you a lot of money. A bouquet of flowers, you can go get a couple of bouquets of flowers, $5, $10. Nice little bouquet of beautiful daisies. Like, come on. I think sometimes people just don't put forth enough effort.
It's effort
in things.
And the older they get, the less effort.
Listen and put forth effort.
That's it.
If you know that she likes a certain thing, certain color, or you know he likes a certain thing, that don't cost nothing. You don't even got to spend your money. Make something.
Girl, because we had this conversation a few weeks ago. I said, if we have these initial conversations, what type of food you like? What's your favorite restaurant? What you like to do? I done gave you all this information about what Leslie likes to do in the city of Birmingham, come around, go in the front with my favorite restaurants, all that stuff. And then on the first, and then when you get ready to go out, well, tell me what you want to do. I done told you everything I like to do. Why are you telling me to create the date too?
No,
this is a leadership thing. It's like if you gonna ask me out, you as a man, grown man, need to have some ideas of what a nice date is in your city. If you don't know, then I can't do it all. I can't be asked out and then coordinate the date as well. I'm courting myself.
Exactly. For that, I'll take myself out. I don't need you to do it.
I see that. I'm sorry. I had a little rant. I'm sorry.
I just want to let y'all know I was still in the room. That's all I'm waving my hand for. I'm still here. I'm hollering. And there's ways of doing that, and I just want to address something right quick. It's kind of difficult to expect somebody to have attention or put in effort when sometimes they don't even put effort in their own single lives. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, then they shouldn't be dating until they get themselves together mentally.
Exactly.
That's not an excuse.
Don't
If
date
I
you
know
can't
I'm not
afford to
mentally
date.
in a space to date, then I shouldn't subject any man to my dysfunction. I can't use my dysfunction or my lack of readiness as an excuse to not be present for you. If I'm dating someone, if I've put myself out there and I have engaged with this man in conversation and we're talking about dating and going places, but I know that I'm not in a headspace to do that well, then I shouldn't even be bothering with him.
Get off the freaking apps.
Listen, and this
I should take some time to get me together before I present myself to someone, even for dating.
All them folks on the apps, they all on the apps.
I'm gonna say this and take this to the bank. Dating is not for sport; it's for a purpose. And it's too many.
Well, that's
people
exactly why we're saying you got to be ready for something
never
like
for
that.
purpose. It's a hobby for them. Lord have mercy. If you actually run into somebody that think that dating is for a hobby, run for your life. Collect your $200. Go out. Just go, because that's not the purpose of it. But there's so many people doing that, and that's the reason why a lot of people view dating now. It's like, it ain't even worth my time right now. Okay, I'm done. I just had to get off my chest.
Okay.
They on there just they exercising that finger. Swipe.
But I think we're all like, people are, like we said, in all different kinds of headspaces in life. Some people date for loneliness, they date for purpose, some date for just companionship, some people date for sex, some people just date because they're tired of being alone and they're tired of showing up events as the only one, like, and I don't really necessarily look down on any of them, only because we're constantly needing to learn and to grow. And I've been in all of those headspaces myself. And so I think sometimes, I don't think people necessarily go out saying, I want to date for sport. They think about, I just want someone to hang out with. Let me go do this. Or I miss having company. Let me do that. It takes time, I think, and a lot of self-reflection to get to the space where you can say, I'm going to wait to date for purpose. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of growth. It takes a lot of healing, a lot of maturity mentally to be able to hold off and say, I shouldn't engage in this until I'm okay. That resistance, that takes a lot. That is not an easy task for people.
Okay. We're going to segue to our last one. This is a good segue. But before we do, please like, please subscribe, and please share. And since we're talking about dating, of course, one thing we need to touch on right quick: dating red flags. Dating red flags. Dating red flags. Y'all ready for this one?
No.
Y'all gonna get it.
It was another one of them podcast people. No.
No, one of those podcast people.
People who are on the podcast are red flags.
There you go.
That's
exactly.
True.
Y'all liability, but that
that sums all of it up, Leslie.
Just listen, y'all.
Anyone had a really rough red flag they've seen on a dating app recently?
I'm a convicted murderer.
Convicted murderer? Did any part of your brain go, we could probably get past this? For a second, right? Did you ghost him, or were you just like, thank you for being honest, but I don't think convicted murderer is for me. That's on my deal breakers list. Sorry. You didn't ghost him. I mean, you can't, right? You gotta let that one down easy. What Exactly. Like, we don't have a lot in common. It'll never work, you know. You're a Sagittarius and you like killed an actual guy, and I've never done that. So you like camping and murder, and I'm just not into those things.
That was the funnest thing in the world.
No, Mike,
Oh,
Mike, I don't like you right now.
Oh. We just don't have nothing in common. Wow. Oh.
We ain't got that in common. That's all I
No,
got.
that was a
I don't
good one.
necessarily like murder.
I didn't go some. I just thought we ain't got nothing in common.
Like he said, like, how can you ghost them? Yeah, okay. Okay. That's it, y'all. That's
that
it.
was a good one.
That was that's it though. It's time for these announcements. I forgot how to do announcements. It's time for the announcements. Okay, here we go. Coming up next at 1:30, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later, we're gonna have our after party. We're gonna discuss these and other topics and bring your favorite snack and libation, and we'll just have a good time. And join us this Saturday for Saturday Night Social. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something, though. But we always have a good time there. So make sure you please join us. And if it's the Lord's will, it all starts all over again for another exciting, mind-bending, whatever else thing, adjective, edition of Tuesday Talk. Okay. Thank you to the studio audience out there. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you to Leslie. Thank you to Chauncey. And thank you to Kitty. Y'all did a great job. And like I said, it was my pleasure and honor to have you up here with us, though. So if there's nothing else, we'll see y'all next week. So bye-bye, y'all.